Welcome back to the Creatives Do Business Well podcast, a space of co-creation for solo creative entrepreneurs just like you, craving that transition from being a struggling artist to a successful creator. Keisha Andrea here. I'm your host, your multi-passionate business sister, and photographer turned holistic brand and content strategist. I tie branding, content creation, systems, and scaling your business back to everyday life. And my goal is to help you not only run a business, but find that sweet balance between your passion and profits and doing business as a creator exceptionally well. Happy Wednesday, or whatever day this found you. Just to let you know, new episodes drop every Wednesday, which is Mercury Day, the day of communication and connection, the perfect time to pause, realign, and be a reminder to pour into the parts of you that wants to create and connect more. So let's tap into that energy and get into today's episode. I was scrolling through my phone looking for something to listen to while cleaning, and I realized that my entire playlist, whether it's the music, the podcast, and even the guided meditations, all of that was created by somebody who tapped into their creative gift. They sat down going through whatever they went through, and they created something that now lives in my ears and in my space, in my heart. Where would I be without my favorite creative? Where would you be without yours? The friend that creates the wedding invites, the artist whose painting bring life to your bedroom, your living room, the copywriter who wrote your sales page, the stylist who got your outfit together and helped you feel seen for the first time, the photographer who helped you capture the best version of your essence, even those meme pages or those TikToks that made you laugh when life felt too heavy. We experience creativity every single day all around us, but somehow creatives are still being the ones asked to do it for exposure, to make something out of nothing, and to lower their price because somebody already spent the budget or something of that sort. And this needs to change, or else there aren't going to be any more creatives willing to offer you their work, or you'll stop getting good work from creatives. It will be watered down. AI will take over because they might choose to do something quick and easy versus putting their all into something that they're not going to get paid for. Creative work is literally every single place that we look, but it's like the air that we're breathing in. We only notice it when it's gone. When you walk into a coffee shop, what makes you feel welcome? Color palette, the thoughtfully designed menu, the curated playlist playing in the background, the Instagram-worthy corners, the real artsy latte design. None of that happened by accident. All of it was created by somebody. And when you think about your favorite brands, the ones whose emails you open, the ones whose Instagram makes you stop scrolling, catch up to whatever they have going on, why do you connect with these brands? Because a creative professional created an experience for you. Think about the creative thinkers, the problem solvers, designers, writers, strategists, photographers, stylists. Without creatives, the world would be boring. It would be bland. People would be confused. It would be off balance because creatives make the experience. They create the vibes. They tell the stories. They give life meaning. But still, it's the creative professionals who are the ones that have the hardest time charging what they're worth, which brings me to my next point. People look at creatives and think that it's easy for them. Creativity isn't always going to look like effort to other people because somebody in their zone of genius, all of it comes natural to them. It flows. And people forget that that flow, it wasn't free. It sometimes came with sacrifice. The skill was practiced. Somebody invested in that. They refined it and they repeated it over and over and over again. Let's say you went out and hired somebody to do your website for you and they created this website mock-up in a couple of hours. Most people would be shocked by how fast it was because they most likely won't be expecting to see something like that so quick. But what you don't see behind the scenes is the hours that that person spent learning their craft, the time that they spent into learning automations and creating workflows, really getting to know who their customer is. days, the money that they spend on software monthly, the courses that they've taken, the nights that they stayed up perfecting all of these skills that they have. Just because it didn't take that creative long now doesn't mean it didn't take years to get there. A 30-minute turnaround on a logo, that's 10 years of experience for somebody. A social media caption that actually gets people to click the link in your bio to buy something that you have to offer, that's years of studying human behavior, psychology, knowing branding, marketing. A quick little 20-minute photo shoot, that's $1,000 of equipment, editing software, and years of lighting knowledge behind the scenes. If you go to a high-end restaurant and they create a beautiful dish in minutes, you're not going to tell them that only took 5 minutes to make, so I'm only going to give you $5. No, you're paying that chef for their expertise, their palate development, their understanding of flavor combinations that took a lifetime to perfect, their grandmama's recipe. So when somebody says to you that only took an hour, I want us to start thinking to ourselves, it took me an hour, but it cost me a decade or a lifetime. If this is something that you have been doing since you were a child, I want to invite creatives to start pricing based on their value and not their time. Yeah, you have a gift. Yes, you're good at that. Yes, it comes natural to you. But if you create a business out of that, you're allowed to charge based on what it costs you, not just in the time, but in the energy, all the tools that you use, the money that you spent learning, the coaches that you've hired, the emotional labor that went into that, your natural genius, and the way that you change somebody's life or their business. I unfortunately had to learn this the hard way because earlier in my photography career, I would be charging by the hour. And when I first started this, I thought I was sitting on a gold mine charging $75 for a photo shoot. Never will I ever do that again because I work on projects that transforms somebody's business, like literally changes the whole look and feel and how people see that business. And if I only bill them for 3 hours, it would hurt me to watch them make thousands off of the work I did when I could barely pay my bills with it. So I got on this call with a mentor one day and they asked me if I was charging for my time or the transformation that I created. And that changed the way I see this because we're creating experiences for people. It impacts people in some kind of way. That's what our work is. And that is what your worth is. And as a strategist, when I work with creators, I want to help people with their messaging and how to package what they do and put it out into the world. And I know people can be hesitant about this at first. And I'm not even charging what I know I'm worth right now. But I can guarantee after a collaboration and you actually implement what we talked about, you'll actually get people talking back to you and your content. The way you operate in business is going to feel different. That investment that you make comes back tenfold. I encourage you to think about this next time you hire somebody. Look at what changed and how your situation improved. That's the work of creatives. That's what we need to remember as creatives. We're not just selling time. We're selling outcomes. We're selling transformation. And if you're monetizing your gifts and your skills to truly serve people and sustain yourself, don't let scarcity mindset rob you of your peace or power. You are allowed to make good money doing what comes naturally to you. That's exactly what you should be doing. You don't have to work hard to make good money. And this essentially teaches people to respect the creative process, not to bash anybody, but we do need to shift the way that people engage with creatives. As a consumer, if you've ever found yourself saying, I've already spent my budget on this, can you work with what I have? Or I can't afford this right now, can you give me a discount? This is just a gentle nudge to pause and reflect and reframe that going forward. I get it when people do that because they're being honest about their situation. But what you're really saying is you prioritize something else over what that creative has to offer you. And that's okay. Everybody isn't going to see value in all the same things, but it's not a reason that creatives should devalue themselves and their work for you, because a new iPhone is going to come out every single year in the fall in September, and people are going to swipe their cards for that new iPhone, pay celebrities without blinking, give these big brands your last, but expect creatives to build miracles out of thin air for the low. We don't want to count your pockets, but we do want reciprocity. We want to hold you accountable and to be intentional when you're working with creatives going forward. If you want creatives to change your life in some way or change your business, budget for that. Don't wait until after you've made another decision and prioritize something else and expect creatives to clean all of that up on a discount. Plan ahead, be honest about your budget up front, but don't try to guilt somebody into lowering their prices. I can't tell you how many times, and honestly, I'm triggered sometimes when people say it, because people will say something like, oh yeah, I want to support my people. I was specifically looking for a Black business owner. The first time I heard that, I was so happy. What I've learned when people lead with that, it's always asking for a discount. The biggest guilt trip ever. When you pay creatives what they're worth, you're going to get the best work. You're going to get their full attention. Most of us have boundaries in our personal life, but boundaries in business are important too. Boundaries are sacred for creatives. They make the business sustainable. I want to share one of my own boundaries. Of course, I have bartering. It absolutely has to be mutually beneficial. You can't offer me a barter for a $30 product and I'm giving you a $500 photo shoot. In that collaboration, what am I going to get out of that? And does it equal the same as what you're going to get out of that? I also have community price options. I do that with intention and I have limits on that. Only a set number a month or during certain seasons when I have the capacity to offer lower price options, I will do that. This helps me to serve without burning out, without feeling resentful of my work and the people that I work with, and keeping the balance between doing something because I really want to help people, because we do want to help people, but not being taken advantage of. I learned this the hard way after years of saying yes to every single discount request, every rush job, every quote unquote emergency, because something is always an emergency, or a quick little photo shoot when it really is just somebody else's poor planning, or if we're being honest, not really valuing the work that I create. So after years of doing this, I started to resent my work. I started to resent the clients that I was working with because I was exhausted. I was underpaid and undervalued. And now I have clear pricing, clear boundaries, clear offers, and I communicate all of this with love and confidence now because of these boundaries that I have. If you are creative, I know you want to help people. I know you have a heart of gold, but you have to have boundaries, and those boundaries are not going to make you mean. It makes your business stay around for a long time. It makes your work better in the long run. One of my favorite mantras now is I get to be well paid and well rested, because creatives that are paid properly, we show up better. We get to rest more. We get to create from joy. We get to pour into our communities from this overflow. I don't want to be exhausted and panicking and worried about where my next dollar is when I'm working with somebody. And I'm also not wanting to get over on you with my prices. Most times those prices are going to reflect the work that you're going to get from somebody. And I know this is case by case basis. There are people out there who charge bukus of money for services that are basic. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people who really put all of their energy, their heart, they consider the experience when they're working with people. Those prices reflect that experience. So now I want to ask you again, where would you be without your favorite creative? Really sit with that. If you're a creative, ask yourself, where would the world be without you? You deserve to be compensated fairly. You deserve to be compensated well. Your energy, your artistry, your investment, all of that matters. And it's time that we build communities that reflect that. It's not always about the money. It's about reciprocity and mutual respect, sustainability, and reclaiming your work as a creative. If you hire creatives, budget with intention, be respectful, show them that you value them. And if you are a creative, start building those boundaries. charge what you're worth, and know that your gift and your work deserves to be around for a long time. We can create communities that value creativity, not just for what it produces, but for the experiences that it provides, the meaning that it gives to something, the connections that we create, how we make something feel better, how we make something look better, the overall transformation that creatives give to something. If this episode sparks something in you, leave me a comment, send me a message, or tag your favorite creative and tell them you make the world better. Share this with a creative friend who needs to hear that their work has value beyond what people can see. This is what Creatives Do Business Well was created from. If you made it this far, thank you for listening in, and I hope this message reached whoever it needed to reach. Until next time, keep valuing yourself, keep transforming the world around you, and get out there and create something. See you in the next episode. Happy creating. Peace. Thank you so much for tuning in. Love today's episode? Go ahead and show us some love and support by leaving a 5-star review. Catch up with me at Keyshandra Creates or Creatives Do Business Well. We want to reach more creatives like you, so be sure to tell your creative business friends and family about us. Don't just talk about it, be about it, and get out there and cultivate your gift and create the sustainable business you deserve.